Hello and welcome to the Nasdanika Vinci Get Started guide. This guide will walk you through the process of creating a model of a site using Nasdanika Vinci, and then generating and publishing the site. We will start with the concepts of model-driven development and Nasdanika Vinci. Then we will go through the installation process of the Nasdanika tool suite, which includes Nasdanika Vinci. After the installation we will create a modeling project and an initial model. We will then generate a starter site from the model and publish it to the Internet via GitHub pages. After that we will populate the model and generate site content from the Eclipse Development Environment user interface and also using the Nasdanika command line interface. We will complete the guide with a review and outline of the next steps. In order to use the Nasdanika tool suite, which includes Vinci, you will need Microsoft Windows 10. Some earlier versions of Windows should also do. You would need permissions to download a zip file, extract it, and to launch an executable. Local administrator access is not required. If you install Nasdanika Vinci on your personal system you would typically have these permissions. However, it might not be the case in a corporate environment. Welcome to the section on model-driven development concepts. This section is a bit abstract. Its purpose is to lay a foundation so that what you see in the following hands-on sections makes more sense. Please feel free to skip it and dive right into action in the subsequent sections if this is your learning style. You can get back to this section later. Or never, if you find the modeling approach self-explanatory. Nasdanika Vinci is a model-driven development tool. What it means is that in order to create a website we will create a model and then the actual site content will be generated from the model. What is a model? Generally speaking, a model is a description of a specific problem area also known as a problem domain. For example, a Vinci model describes a website structure and a map describes a territory. Typically a model is an abstraction of the problem domain, which means that it removes or hides non-essential details allowing to focus on the details which are essential for achieving a particular goal. Nasdanika Vinci models are built with the Eclipse Modeling Framework or EMF. In EMF a model is a tree of model elements of different type which can reference each other. A model element can also be called an object and its type is called a class. Model elements can have structural features and operations. A structural feature is either an attribute or a reference. For example, a class person may have an attribute name and a reference relatives. Structural features can have one or more values. For example, a reference to relatives may point to more than one person. References can be unidirectional or bidirectional. Also references can be containing or non-containing. A model element, except the root model element, must be contained in a single containment reference. Model classes support multiple inheritance where a subclass inherits structural features and operations from its superclasses and may define its own structural features and operations. A model can have multiple representations. In this guide we will take a look at the tree representation, the diagram representation, and the properties view. It is important to understand that all these representations are backed by the same model. Different representations of the same model allow to utilize thinking modes most appropriate for a particular modeling task. Diagrams can be used to define the site structure. Trees, tables, and property views engage sequential thinking for elaborating details of individual actions. At this point of time Vinci does not provide table representations. However, they can be introduced in the future releases. In a team environment some team members may be creating the site structure using diagrams and then hand over models to other team members who would use trees and property views to elaborate the models to their final state. Model classes are grouped into packages. Nasdanika Vinci uses 5 model packages with increasing level of abstraction. The N-core package contains core classes used by the classes from the other packages. The HTML package provides classes for generating HTML. The Bootstrap packages provides classes for generating Bootstrap elements, which is a higher level of abstraction than HTML. The application model raises the abstraction level even higher. At this level a site is a tree of actions with content. In this guide we will operate at this level of abstraction. Eventually, the components model provides high-level components such as tables of content, and text-to-speech components. In this guide we will be generating a website from an action model. In this model an action is a unit of interaction between the user and the website. Actions are organized in a hierarchy. The root of the hierarchy is called the root action. The first navigation child of the root action is called the principal action. Actions have activator and activator type attributes. These attributes define what happens when the user clicks on the action link. In this guide we will use reference activator type. Actions may have content. The content is displayed in the content panel when the action is activated. Actions can be in different roles. Action role defines placement of the action link or action content on the page. The root action is displayed in the page header. The principal action is displayed in the navigation bar. If the root action has more than one navigation child, then navigation siblings of the principal action are displayed in the header on the right. Context children of the root action are displayed in the footer. Navigation children of the principal action are displayed in the navigation panel. They can be grouped into categories and displayed as a list or as a tree depending on the navigation depth. Context children of the principal action are displayed in the navigation bar to the right of the principal action. Context children of the selected action are displayed to the right of the action header. Action content is displayed in the content panel. Section children are displayed in the content panel below the action content. Content left and content right children of the selected action are displayed in left and right sub-panels of the content panel. Let's take a quick look at a few examples of actions in different roles. In this example, Joe Doe is the root action and resume is the principal action. Employment history is a category grouping navigation actions employer 1, employer 2, and employer 3. These actions do not have navigation children and therefore are shown as a list. Skills is another action category. Skills navigation actions are nested and therefore are displayed as a tree. In this example, Nasdanika is the root action. The principal action text is blank and therefore it is not shown. Documentation and support are second and third navigation children of the root action. The footer contains context children of the root action. All right, we are done with the theory. Now it is time to install the Nasdanika tool suite and get down to modeling and code generation.